implementation, or set the settler to city function. So starting out, here is the implementation or the interface for the Archer fortification, and here's the implementation of it. So just going in, it's going to send out a unit, and it takes in unit Archer, and it's going to check if the unit is already fortified. If it's already fortified, then it obviously can't do it again. So it goes into this if statement, and then it's going to call this fortify function. And fortify is over here in the unit. So once it calls, it's going to set defense strength to 6, which is double, and it's going to set is fortified to 1, which is just stating that it is in fact fortified. And here I'll show also the unfortify. So whenever an archer is moved from one position to another, then it is unfortified, which means its defense strength is cut in half, and the is fortified flag is set to 0. And this function also just gets if the function is in fact fortified. So after it goes through this, then it's going to return the archer, which is the modified defense and flag value. And that can be seen here with the defense strength and the is fortified flag. And then once we go into game implementation, so I have the archer for function, and this takes in the archer, and the unit is what's returned. So I'm going to set new archer, which is calling this archer fortify function from here, and I pass in the archer value here, and this next function is going to go through and replace the value of, it's going to call this set unit location, or sorry, it's going to just set it's based off of this function, or this step here, just setting this row and column equal to this new archer, so that it updates, and then it's just going to return this new archer. So in the test file, it's going to look like this for the archer. So I go through and I have it as just starting the game is not null value, then setting the archer to position, creating a new archer, and then fortifying this archer, and then this just asserts that the archer is in fact fortified. Then the next test, which is archer deforts, it's going to do the same thing as the above test case, only this time we're going to have a new position for the archer to move. So the goal of this is that the archer is fortified, and then it's going to be unfortified. So first, just asserting that it's unfortified, then we're going to fortify this archer, so double its strength. Then we're going to check and make sure it's double, so basically the same test as above. And then here we're going to just move the archer to this new position, and we're making sure that that is also true. And then after we move it, we want to make sure that the red archer is in fact unfortified now. So I will run that test at the very end, so show all of them. Next, we're going to do the city, or the settler to city. So I have the interface here, which just has create city and settler build, and going into the implementation, we have a city, which is just a counter, and then I made an array of city variables so that we don't have to create new city variable values. So this function creates city, which just takes in the location of where the city is and the owner of that city. So it's going to iterate through each value of this city's value right here inside of this array, and just create a new city based off of the location of the owner. And then we're going to have city copy just equal this city so that we can iterate it for the next loop. and at the end it's just going to return the copied city. Next function is just the settler build, so this just takes in the unit of the settler, and it's going to create a location of where the settler actually is, and then it's going to call this create city function, which is this function up here, to use this location that the settler is at and get the owner. And then if we go to the test, then we can go to the implementation here, and this is where it's called. So settler city, it's going to take in the unit settler, and it's going to set the city location, which is this function up here with our city grid, and it's going to pass in the settler position, and it's going to call that settler to city function here, which is the settler build, and it passes in this unit value. And then we are going to cast the settler to unit impl, and it's going to change the position to our trash bin so that there's only one value at that, one unit at that tile. So at this point there's just one city and there's no settler, which is how it should be. And then now I can just run through all the tests. I will just show the test GammaCiv because that is what implements these tests. So there's all 34 out of 34 passed, and I'll just scroll through and show. So Archer fortification passed, Archer deforts passed, and the settler builds, and then these are all from the AlphaCiv. And I can show also the new setup. So for GammaCiv, we have passing in 4 values instead of 2 values, like for the past iterations. So then we have these Archer fort condition to actually go and get these Archer fortify functions. So, yep, thank you. The DeltaCiv tests. So I'll just show you around real quick. This is the Delta game board that Adam wrote up. So I'll just show you the tests right here. So here's just the regular setup. It uses this Delta layout, and I believe, yeah, so they'll start here. It just calls a Delta game board and then gets the tile type and makes sure that the entire board is set up properly. So here we have the ocean locations, the mountain locations, forest locations, hill locations, and plain locations. And each one of these is just checking to make sure that the tile types are in fact the correct type. And I can go ahead and show all of these tests running and functioning. And yep, there you go. Thanks.